Test, test, check 1, 2. You know you need unique New York. You know you need unique New York. Does that sound all right? Ah, that's better. You can always tell something's missing when you get isolated results. Like AI that's only right for one of your systems. Get AI that can work across your data and applications. Learn more at IBM.com. The AI built for business. IBM.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
Finding a new job is stressful. But with Indeed, it doesn't have to be. Just fill out your Indeed profile with your skills, experience, and desired salary. The more you fill out, the better your matches will be. And hearing from hiring managers will be 2 times more likely. Relax. That's your Indeed profile sending opportunities your way. Indeed, the world can work better.
Mega is an improvised satire from the staff of a fictional megachurch.
We are here, Lord, we are here, and we're ready to podcast.
Hiya, I'm Hallie Labont, and this is Mega, coming to you from Twin Hills Community Church, where every single week we're giving our mega church a tiny family feel. We love introducing you to members of our church staff and sometimes people from our community, and I always find it to be a treat and a treasure. And per usual, I'm joined by my co-host. He's the youth pastor for our high school ministry called Climax. Please welcome Gray Haas.
Name above all names, game above all games. Hallie, how are you?
Oh, so good. Really good. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing much better, but I am definitely still in recovery mode from my cancer scare. So I'm just trying to really take a lot of hashtag self-care.
But it wasn't a cancer diagnosis, isn't that right? You got good news.
Right, but Hallie, I'm in recovery from the cancer scare.
Oh, you're recovering from the scare.
Right, because as a lot of people can probably attest, sometimes just the news of possibly having it is almost worse than having it.
Yeah, it's scary. I mean, did you ever get the Sharpie out, that you thought was the melanoma?
Well, it wasn't. I mean, I guess it was a Sharpie. There is a chance that maybe even the Sharpie could have damaged the skin underneath. So I'm taking some time just really observing that, and they're going to do another scrape here in a few weeks. But, just in the meantime, I'm doing a lot of praying. I took 7 days off of paid leave, which was great. I just needed that. Yeah. Spent a lot of time just prayerfully walking to and from the gym, doing good workouts, eating super healthy. And I think, a lot of people think that self-care is a privilege. Well, I'm here to tell you that it's a necessity. And I think everybody should take some paid time off to just take care of themselves after a big life issue like I just had.
Yeah, for sure. During that time off, did you get to look at any condos?
No, I don't really like my real estate guy, my realtor. I just don't really like what he's showing me right now. Because
so you're stuck living at Clay Mason Bannerman's house?
Well, yes, and that comes with a whole bunch of issues as well. But right now I'm just laying low, hanging out with Clay, taking care of Popsicles, and I'm just really trying to find a 3-bedroom condo that has, anywhere between. I just said I really need at least a 3-bedroom because I need, obviously bedroom for guests and something to put my at-home gym in.
Oh, cool.
And then I'm also looking for something with 4 to 5 bathrooms, and that doesn't, for some reason they just don't have that here.
Yeah.
And so until I can find a 3-bedroom with 4 to 5 bathroom condo, I just don't know what I'm going to do, Hallie. So, but right now, I honestly can't get stressed out about that because I'm in recovery.
Yeah, and you're practically a refugee,
I
you
know.
know? I mean, man, a living.
Well,
but
when I hear about these refugees, so-called that they have coming across the border,
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I've been living that life for almost a year now. It's not easy. I do have some, I can relate to them somewhat, but I'm like, well, I've been a refugee too, and I'm making it work.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. And I mean, you'll be, I know you're going to land on your feet, bud. And I know that you can manage the crisis of not having your own house right
Absolutely.
now and having to, crash at your buddy's place for so long on end. I mean, truly, I'm putting you on the top of my prayer list.
Oh, thank you.
And you know what it's like to be an oppressed people group anyway, because as you know, American Christians are the most oppressed people group maybe globally.
Did you say impressed?
Well, I mean, we do impress.
Yes, we do. Speaking of impressed, Hallie, I just noticed, what is that you got? Kind of a new kind of trim feature on your car or something?
Oh, did you see that?
Yeah, you've got the vanity thing around your plate now.
Yep, on my new Lexus.
Yeah.
I'm getting her all souped
Well,
up.
how'd you get that? Who put that on?
Well, I have a recommendation for any Twin Hillers out there who need things done around the house. I found my guy, Dick Epps.
What?
Dick Epps?
Dick Epps.
Dick Epps.
What's Dick Epps? Oh,
Dick
the handyman.
Epps, my handyman.
Oh, Dick Epps.
He can handle anything, and I'm glad for it because lately I've had trouble with my laptop, and I couldn't get a sticker off my laptop either. Didn't want it anymore. A sticker I'd put on there from an old, series that we'd had in the church.
Oh, what sticker?
My former fetus sticker.
Former fetus?
Yeah, that I am a former fetus. I think that's a good message.
Oh, for some reason I read that as feed us. But anyway, so Dick Epps, he's fixing your computer and he took a sticker off your computer and he put a bunch of flashy trim on your Lexus.
Yeah, well, he didn't fix my laptop, like the insides. He just helped me get. The sticker was peeling. I couldn't get it off. He got it off with some Goo Gone.
Oh, yeah, you can just buy that.
Miracle. And he tricked out my new Lexus. He said he could do lights and everything. If anybody has any problems, I mean, I had a sharpshooting pain in my heel. That he was able to fix up, spick and
in
span.
your heel?
I was, put weight on my heel, and it would be like I was standing on a needle. And I said, Dick Epps, what's the extent of the things you can work on? And I'm telling you, anyone out there, if you need a handyman, boy, he can work on anything.
Well, what was wrong with your heel that a handyman could fix it?
Well, Dick found there was a nail in my shoe.
Oh, okay.
And, he fixed that right up. I mean, I'm telling you, you hear the name Dick Epps and you think, must be some old guy with plumber crack, forgive my French. But he is a 7-foot-tall, 33-year-old, fresh-faced sweetie, and he's cute. I'm afraid my daughters are going to notice with him coming over because I've had so many issues recently.
I don't think your daughters have noticed that.
But he's always clean as a whistle. It seems like he's always fresh out the shower, and he rides a motorcycle. He comes over on his big motorcycle bike, and he's got wet hair. It smells like ivory soap. Dick Epps.
Doesn't Dick Epps, a 7-foot guy on a motorcycle, doesn't that look strange? I mean, it doesn't seem like any motorcycle is meant to be ridden by a 7-foot-tall person.
Oh, no, it's a big bike. He looks good on there. He looks good. His wet hair's blowing, and it's not Dick Epps. It's Dick Epps.
Okay.
EPPS.
Well, Dick Epps is
Dick
something
Epps.
different, I think.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Are you still quoting 30-year-old movies? Have you said cool beans in the past 90 days? Do you think Discover isn't widely accepted? If this sounds like you, you're stuck in the past. Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. And every time you make a purchase with your card, you automatically earn cash back. Welcome to the now. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/credit card, based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Well, just like Jesus fed the 5,000 with just a couple of fish and loaves, our guest today is feeding the masses with the Last Supper Catering Company. It's my pleasure to introduce Cindy Spoonby. Welcome to the program. How you feeling today, Cindy?
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. The busy season's over, and I'm so happy to be here. I feel so happy. Yeah.
I know, Syd. I mean, you, for the last few months, I would say, and I don't, mean this in a derogatory way, you've seen frazzled.
Yeah.
Just, because you've gone from fall parties to Thanksgiving. I know you did a lot of Thanksgiving catering right into the holidays. And then, of course, all the deaths around the holidays that typically happen and the funerals that you have to do. So how are you feeling now that you're finally in the new year?
I thought I'd be a lot happier, but it's just the come down is always kind of harder than you think it's gonna be. Yep. So I just, feel like obviously I've never done drugs, but I assume what the past couple months have been like is I've been on drugs, and now I need to go to rehab potentially.
Yes. Well, Cindy, it sounds like you're postpartum because you gave birth to a lot of meals. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. And I find your meals, every time I've hired the Last Supper Catering Company, I'll tell you what, I've been impressed and never disappointed. You always deliver a 10 out of 10 every single time, Cindy. And I say somehow she's able to get mayonnaise into every single casserole. If not a mayonnaise base, then you're putting in a mushroom soup base. And, that's going to keep meat on people's bones in these harsh winters we have in Indiana. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that is a huge priority for me, is keeping everyone just a little bit fat. That was always big in my household growing up, and now I just try to bring it with me in my catering.
Oh, that is great. Well, I'm glad you are here today because, and I hate to put in a last minute request, but, I'm thinking about doing a party of sorts.
Oh, great.
Because, I have a neighbor and I don't really want to bring him up, but he's always kind of throwing parties. And I'm like, hey, why don't I throw a party? So, I would love to have you come over and, do one of your big spreads, maybe in the next few weeks.
Oh, okay. I never want to discourage a party, but people are tired. It can't just be me. I think everybody's got to be tired, So I would say maybe don't do that. Wait, we'll just wait 2 months.
Do you not have a lot of people working for you right now?
I do have quite a large staff, but I, am a bit of a perfectionist, you could say. So I am doing just about everything in the company, from, thinking up the recipes, testing the recipes, making the food. And, throughout the holidays, I did have about seven parties to cater per day on my lighter days. Yeah. I'm stretched thin. So, I can always make a recommendation. Everybody loves Raisin Canes. You could always just, pick up some Raisin Canes. And
I thought you were going to say Everybody Loves Raymond. I like that show too.
That show is going to say excellent. Everyone Loves Raising Cain, which I thought was a scary movie.
Is it? I've never seen one in my life. But
what? Raising Cain is a movie?
Isn't Raising Cain a movie? Well, I wanted to ask you because I feel like you're so competent that then you get penalized for it because you're good at everything. Then you got to do everything because nobody else is good at it. And if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself. So you can't delegate to all these people that you've hired. And so then you're totally exhausted. But I just wanted to compliment the fact that, you create a totally original menu and there are certain accommodations you just won't do because if you accommodate one person, then it's a cascade and you got to accommodate everyone. Well, I'm gluten-free and I'm vegan and I'm vegetarian and I'm sugar-free and I'm paleo and I'm whatever. I like that you're like, we do no accommodations of any diets whatsoever. I make the food. You decide what to eat. It's their problem if they don't want gluten. Isn't that right?
Oh, 100%. I never make an accommodation. And I never will. My mother also had a catering company and that's so
it was a family thing.
was a family thing, and she ended up dying at 52 of a heart attack because she did make so many accommodations. It did end up killing her. Just
Really?
the stress.
What was the last accommodation she made? Other than the accommodation at the hospital, I guess.
The last accommodation she made, it was a gorgeous Easter party. I mean, picture the little pink bunny she made out of white chocolate, and then she would make rose water, put it into the white chocolate bunnies. And I mean, it was fantastic. This woman was in a league of her own, and I prayed to her every day. But the last accommodation she made, oh God, it was for Ruth Windsor. She didn't want cilantro in the spring salad, and one tiny sprig got in, and my mother crashed. Heart attack right then and there.
And wait, your mother was also in the movie A League of Their Own?
She was, yes. Actually, great memory.
Which one was she?
She was Gina Davis's body double, actually.
Oh,
yes.
cool. So your mom is tall, huh?
Oh, she was extremely tall. Yes. Very tall, redhead, gorgeous. Yeah, perfect. Perfect woman.
Amazing. And you have red hair as well.
I do. Fiery red. Yes.
And you're really tall. And I wanted to thank you for one of your menus that you put together that's my favorite is the What Would Jesus Eat menu. And I feel like you get creative with that. And like, what would Jesus be eating? Well, we know it was probably hummus and tabbouleh because, you know, he liked that kind of food. But you also kind of, you know, you took some liberties in terms of what he would eat. And I think it's my favorite menu of all of the things you've ever put together. And I feel like it makes me feel closer to Christ.
Thank you so much. You know, that one actually came to me in a dream.
Is that how you get your ideas?
That's how I get most of my ideas is my mother comes to me in my dreams and she whispers them to me. Yeah, we typically, the dreams I have almost every night, actually. And doctors have called them stress dreams, but I find them quite beautiful. My mother comes to me, screams a menu at me. I know I said whispered at first, but that was what we called screaming. Screams the menu into my ears, and then I have 45 minutes to make a 7-course meal, and then we eat it together, and she tells me everything I did wrong. And yeah, so.
Wow. What a beautiful image. What, you know, I've always wondered that. What, like, you know, how did you get so many great ideas? And that makes total sense. Did you do that for the mini, what were those finger-sized, the finger-sized hot dogs?
The finger-sized hot dogs, yes. The petite chien, as I called them. My mother was half French. Yes. Ooh. So the finger-sized hot dogs. Well, how that came about, once again, a dream around July 4th. So already hot dogs were in the air, you know? And I go to sleep, the smell of barbecue still lingering in the air. And my mother comes, screams at me, I want hot dogs, but I want them finger-sized. And you're thinking, isn't a hot dog kind of already a large man's finger size? But no.
Oh, I guess
she meant the size of my daughter, who was then 2 years old, her finger sized.
Well, and probably the size of Gina Davis's fingers. I mean, did you ever see those things?
Oh, yeah, those are big. My mother also had big hands. We're a big hand family. You should have seen her at the piano. She couldn't play, but just seeing her fingers next to the keys was amazing.
And are you married? Because I would imagine these, like, if you're, you know, if your husband or whatever is next to you while you're having these dreams.
I am married, and, you know, I'm sure every married woman can relate to me when I say this. He is a useless, just hunk of crap. I love him to death. Fabulous man. Fantastic partner, but there's just not much he can do, you know?
Yep.
I'm doing kind of like what you said earlier. I'm doing everything. I'm just a little too competent. So no man is ever going to measure up, and that's fine. Other than God, obviously. Jesus.
Well, and what does he do? What was your husband? What does your husband do?
He keeps the books at Catering for Christ. He keeps the books, and by that I mean I keep the books and I write him a check. You know, go have fun, sweetie. Take your money, go buy yourself some at the mall, and I'll do it.
Yeah, stay out of my hair. I mean, you got stuff to do. You got meals to make. Wow. Mm-hmm. What's the difference between cooking and baking?
Oh, wow. The question for the ages. You know, the way I describe it, simply, cooking is an art, baking is a science.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, you can have a little more fun in the kitchen when you're cooking. A sprinkle here, a dash there. Baking, you put in a tablespoon too much of baking soda, your cake explodes, you know?
Oh, wow.
You can't play around.
And
with
then
a
with
cake.
catering, is catering sort of the third prong on the cooking fork, as it were? How would you describe catering as opposed to baking or cooking?
Gorgeous metaphor. I would say catering is actually the brick that is tied to my ankle as I am dropped into one of the Finger Lakes. So it's just really more.
Wait, and I'm sorry to go back, but are we still talking about a fork metaphor? And so
metaphor.
You're technically tied to the fork in this
The fork
scenario?
is stuck in my eye, is how I like to think of it. I love my job. I love my life. I'm coming down from a busy season. So I'm always like this in January. The fork stabbed in my eye, 2 of them, really.
Right.
And then the catering company is the brick that is tied to my ankle, and I'm thrown into a river, and I am drowning. Yeah. So I hope that's helpful.
And is this a strange time to ask about the I guess you would call that a scar near your eye there?
Oh, yeah. So my mother did actually stick a fork into my eye when I was a child.
Is that right?
Wow.
Yes. You know how I said about, 1 tablespoon of baking soda too much and a cake explodes? Well, have you ever done that to a king cake when you're expecting 1,000 people in, 20 minutes and your daughter ruins your whatever celebration? So, yeah.
Really?
Oh, wow.
But you know what?
The heart of God.
No, I'm better for it. It made me who I am, that fork to the eye.
Vitamin Water Zero Sugar has great taste, zero BS, and obviously zero sugar. For those with zero room in their calendar, zero patience for slow walkers, those who get 0 hours of sleep on a Saturday night, have zero filter, zero given, and zero interest in grabbing a plain, boring water. Grab a delicious Vitamin Water Zero Sugar today.
McCrispy strips are now at McDonald's. I hope you're ready for the most dippable chicken in McDonald's history. Dip it in all the sauces. Dip it in that hot sauce in your bag. Dip it in your McFlurry. Your dip is your business. McCrispy strips at McDonald's.
Is there a way to, it sounds like the best part of your mom was maybe the recipes that she's given you, but maybe the hard part is that, you can't seem to shake her even since she's been on the other side, as it were.
Yeah, she's still loud.
I just wonder if there's a way to come up with recipes that doesn't involve being visited by a woman that essentially is terrorizing you every, sleeping moment.
Well, whose mother isn't their first terrorist, That's what I like to say. And when, all those, when 9/11 happened, I just said to myself, been there,
Yeah, it was surprising there wasn't a lady in the bunch.
I know. My mother drove my, 2 planes into my forehead when at 2 years old. So, I feel like everybody's been through this and I'm just tough enough to turn it into $1 million business,
Wow.
That's true, honestly. And you know what? Count yourself lucky, because instead of forking you in the eye, she could have put you locked in the back seat and just pushed the car into a pond. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And her mother did do that to her, actually.
Is that right? And she survived.
Wow.
Is this generational trauma that everybody's talking about now?
Oh, no. That's just something people say so that they can be big babies. There's no such thing as generational trauma. What we've got is generations of good mothers doing the best they can, if you ask me.
Exactly. And Grammy was a wonderful woman who just happened to have a hard day at the bar when she drove my mother into. It was just a pond. People really freak out about it. It was just a pond.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask, why do people say, because one of my daughters was catering one summer for some extra cash. And
which daughter?
Oh, the one who, oddly enough, really loves women with long fingers. She says Gina Davis has long fingers. She says Jodie Comer has long fingers. She's really into women with long fingers. And It must be because my daughter has been, shaving her own head with a pair of electric clippers and a kitchen bowl on top, So maybe she thinks, a lot of times you see long fingers on a gal and you think piano player. Well, my daughter must think, she'd make a good barber or some such.
Yes.
But my daughter said that catering is, if restaurant work is kind of like being in hell, then catering work is like being on hell in a gasoline G-string, like doing, headstands in poop rooms. You know what I mean? And why is that?
Restaurant work, I don't mean to turn my nose up at it, but it's just, easy. You get to go home afterwards, forget about the day. Catering never leaves the mind because you sit there. It's all up to you. It's your menu. It's your food, your dirty dishes. You're the face serving it to everyone. You're the one women are calling at 3 a.m. My husband just died. Like, I just want to make sure this duck is as crispy as possible the way he would have liked it, and it just never stops, never stops.
It's like the mail.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I think I was at a funeral and the duck you served was fantastic. And
thank you.
And especially the way you presented it, because I believe that was Jerry Teneriff's funeral, and he was quite a wealthy guy. And the way that you served it, of a duck kind of with a bunch of gold coins all around, chocolate gold coins all around it, kind of Scrooge McDuck style, I thought was very creative, especially since he was Scottish and he did, have a lot of money.
Exactly. Yeah. I just like to make sure that my food honors the person as best in a truthful way. I won't lie. It has to be truthful. And he was a son of a bitch, as we all know. So I made sure it was an angry looking duck surrounded by those gold coins.
Right. Yeah. I always had the question, if you could do anything, because it sounds like you love catering and it sounds like you'll probably do it forever. But is there anything else that you would do as a profession?
I always thought, going somewhere, living on an island, just going swimming till I can't see anymore. That's not a job. I can't do that. No, catering is the only thing I could ever do. And it's the only thing I'll do it till I die, just like Mama. So.
Well, I feel like you just described exactly what heaven is going to be for you. It's going to be a pristine beach where nobody's bothering you. You can go out into the perfect clear bath water, never get stung by a stingray or get any sea lice in your skin or anything. You're going to be out there with your perfect body, in the perfect weather, in your perfect image of, what heaven is for you. I hope I can walk by when I'm up there in heaven with you and wave at you from the beach and be like, what's going on, Cindy? And you might be like, get out of here. My heaven is, quiet and whatever. And, you just let me know. I'll stop by if you want company, but I'll leave your room if you need to, just be floating in the perfect water.
Thank you. And I'm sure I will need to be alone, but I appreciate you thinking maybe you'd say hi. But no, please leave me.
What do you think you'll be eating in heaven?
The reality is I could never eat again and be fine. Once you've tasted it all, you've tasted it all, Yeah, I think there will be no food in heaven. No people, no food. Just that pristine water of the beach and myself, really.
Oh, have you ever accidentally poisoned somebody?
Accidentally is a strong word. It's a strong word. I like to say things have slipped out of my hands, but nothing crazy. I'll slip. I don't know if you've ever had a UTI, but as you know, the meds do turn your pee bright red. And have I wanted to scare someone after an event? Sure. Have I slipped a couple UTI meds into someone's drink? And have they, called me crying, screaming about their red pee the next day? Sure, maybe. But no, I've never accidentally poisoned someone. No.
Is there a possibility that in your life you could take some more breaks from the business just to give yourself that leeway, more time to be quiet, to pray and to be in thoughtful, prayerful places where, you're not having so many demands placed on you all the time?
That's very interesting that you bring that up, because I technically haven't had to work since I was 27. I am very comfortable in my finances. I could close the company today, never lift a finger again, and be fine for the rest of my life. But no, like I I hate to rest. I'm been trying to now because of the busy season, but I really am struggling more than I'm resting. So
when does the busy season start and when does busy season end?
So busy season starts around Valentine's Day, February 14th, and it ends around January 6th, 7th after the inauguration. Wow. So I get about a month of rest, and I typically don't enjoy it. So
do you get a lot of January 6th parties?
I get a ton. I'm sure no one's surprised. That's really a huge day.
What do you serve on those? Or was that with the finger hot dogs?
The finger hot dogs were actually for Christmas to represent the three wise men and their little grubby fingers.
Cool.
Just getting into Jesus's mess, as the story goes. That for January 6th, it's a lot of red, white, and blue. People really hate when I get creative with it personally. Like one year I did have an exploding tartatan, and which is, it's a kind of the French apple cake, and I put tiny fireworks inside of it so that when, you broke into it, it exploded quite like I feel the country does every time we elect a new president. It's a bit of an explosion and a rebirth, but I did have to call my insurance after that one. Someone's house burned down, but it's fine. So now it's, people like a red, white, and blueberry cake. Garbage like that, really,
Well, maybe you could take some red licorice and fashion some little nooses like they did for Mike Pence that day.
That would be so funny.
Cute.
That would be so funny.
That would be so cute. And, people like Pence need to know that, you got to get in line and get with the program, or you might, I don't know, just get strung up in front of the Capitol. But everyone likes licorice, don't you think?
No, I 100% agree with that. And I would have to make my own licorice, but I've been doing that since I was a child. So that would be no problem.
Really? Wow. Yeah, and often, and I, obviously don't want to press you too much, but if in the next few weeks you do, since you are kind of in your slow season now, I was thinking about having some kind of Hot Pocket themed party, because my friend, I'm not sure if I've mentioned him before, but my friend Clay Mason Bannerman is going to be, he is a father, and
he's a grandfather.
And I was going to call it the Hot Papa and Pockets party. Ooh. And just to be able to sort of celebrate him being a dad, because he's just been under a lot of stress right now.
Interesting. All right. Well, you know what? I'll drop a budget. We'll see. I don't love that the creative freedom has been taken away from me. Like you're deciding it's a Hot Pocket party, but maybe I could get into it if there's a little more wiggle room with the ingredients and the stuffings and the shapes.
I would just love it to be a protein-based Hot Pocket with, essentially just a lean, maybe just some very lean meats inside. Any sort of like creatine-based things are welcome too. But the whole get a little fat thing is definitely not going to play at the Hot Papa and Pockets Hot Pocket party, I don't think.
Okay, well then unfortunately I am out, because lean protein and creatine, I do draw the line there. If it's not mayo based, I'm really not playing. Sorry.
Well, this is the Midwest. I mean, if you don't put mayo in something, you shouldn't serve it with pride. You know what I mean? Well, what do we think we are? Coastal elites?
Oh, God, no. Never. No. So, I'm so sorry. If you want a creatine party, you might have to take it to Los Angeles.
Thanks to our lovely guest, Syd Steinberg. Check out all the amazing and hilarious stuff she's doing on Instagram. She's at Syd Steinberg.
And if you want to help out Mega, of course, please pass this on to somebody that needs some Mega in their lives. And also, if you want to support the show, there are links in the show notes. We would love to have you.
Thanks. See you next time.